Not to, that's cool. Excuse me. All right, I think we're live on Facebook, actually. There we go.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Maegical Healing the World live talk show and podcast. We are so excited to be here with you today. My name is David Staub, here with my lovely wife, Miss Megan.
Hi, everyone.
And we have such a special guest today, Miss Rachel Vilcek. Thanks for joining us. We are so excited to talk to you all. I'm going to take just a minute and make sure everything is checking off. As many of you know, we are actually doing this on Zoom. We're live streaming to our Facebook account. So I'm just going to go through and make sure everything's looking good here. And if you jump on with us and you can hear us, if you could just let us know, give us a little thumbs up.
Can you hear all three of us?
That's right.
I know you can hear me because I'm loud.
Yep. No, there's no problem here, Megan, usually. Good luck. Oh, Alyssa. Hey, what's up, Alyssa?
Alyssa.
Awesome. It looks like you can hear. That's great. All right. Sweet. I'll give a few more minutes for everyone to get on here.
Hope everyone had a good weekend.
Yes.
Don't want it to end.
We are going to be sending this to our Magical Healing group as well. If you're in there with us, I'm going to share this. Oh, we can. All right, Alyssa, thank you for confirming that. They can hear us. You just saved the day a little there.
As usual, Alyssa.
Alyssa is Rachel's wonderful daughter.
She's amazing.
She really is amazing.
All right. There we go. Shared it to our group. And we are good to go. I also, for everyone listening, so you know, I have right here, if anyone has any questions or jumps aboard or any input on this, feel free to put it right in the group chat. I have it listed right here in front of me so I can respond. But welcome, everyone. We're so excited to talk to you today. We're talking about a few different topics that are near and dear to all of our hearts, and we've all experienced it in some way, shape, or form. And, you know, we've experienced it with people we've either professionally trained in the past 10 years or personally mentored, and multiple different facets. So we'll jump right into it. Fear. Fear has been used for so many years in almost every, I think every culture to help control people.
People are easy to control with their fear.
Yes.
Absolutely. Fear is used in so many different ways, and it's kind of crept into organizations. It's crept into a lot of religions.
It's everything.
Literally everything.
And it keeps you in that lower vibe, that lower frequency.
Yep, constantly. And there's a couple of reasons for it too. And it's so important to become self-aware of this stuff, because I know I was, for most of my life, I had no idea about it. I just knew, like, I followed my little path and you don't go outside of it. But when you start becoming self-aware of this stuff, you start asking questions of, why is there so much fear? Why is it being used to control us so much? And one of the things I wanted
because if you have a lower, vibration, you're tapped into that lower frequency, then you're going to struggle.
Yep.
And things are always going to be hard. I'm not saying that even whenever you do all the right things that you don't go through things, but I'm talking like you just consistently are attracting horrible things.
That's a huge part of it. And I'd love to hear y'all's input on this, because you both have different but unique experiences in regards to fear. And one of the main points I want to get across to so much of our community, we're so grateful for our Magical community. Now across all platforms, we're well over 30,000 people across the entire Magical platform. And we're so grateful for all of you, Austin-based, internationally based. But, we truly, in the deepest part of our hearts, want you all to heal. Like, we've went through many experiences in our healing, and it is a journey for sure.
And it's not usually a one-all fix-all.
Nope.
Like, you've got to figure out what your magical formula is.
But it's so important to not let fear derail you, because fear keeps so many people away from their healing.
It keeps the things you want at bay.
Away from the divine guidance that could be all around you, because people call certain things, even something is, now, Graham, we're going to get to the part later on where we talk about there is light and dark, and it's important to discern that.
Well, to me, the simplest way to put it is there's good energy and there's bad energy.
That's right.
Because everything is energy.
That's right.
So that's the most simplest way that I can put it.
Yep. And we don't want anyone, anyone, but especially those in our community that continuously come here and speak to us on and off, to let fear stop them from finding their path to their purpose or their healing.
Absolutely.
You know, Megan, if you want to kind of start it, like when you were going through, you started your healing journey, what things in fear kind of kept you away from those things that are so instrumental now?
Well, I mean, there's just a lot. So, you know, first,
Meditation to start, right? As crazy as that is.
what that, that I thought was
Meditation,
bad.
yeah.
I was terrified of doing meditation for the longest time because I was raised in a Christian upbringing, which I do resonate with a lot. I'm not religious because I don't like the control. And I think there's things that have been turned around, you know.
Yep.
But, you know, I had a great upbringing, but I really thought that meditation was the devil. Like, I thought that it would open me up to darkness,
Yeah.
demonic things.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it was like a mind torture for so long because it's like I would practice these things and like amazing things would happen. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And but then the other part of me would be like, oh, but like what if it's not good? And then I finally had to, like, instead of just believing something is something because someone told me to, because that's what they believe, I was like, you know what, I need to experience something and know that I am protected at all times, and, you know, call on that protection and experience something so I can use my own discernment. It's like I was almost powerless because it was all about their discernment. It's like, what about your own? Like, the Holy Spirit is within you. You have a higher self. And you know, does it feel good? Does it feel bad? Like, you will know if something is of light or is not. If it's good energy, you're tapped into a good energy, or you're tapped into a bad energy.
That's
Amazing
yep.
things happened and my life changed. That was the beginning of my healing process when I learned about the law of attraction and about meditation and affirmations and writing them. Like, that stuff changed my life, because then the first thing that I started to heal was, you know, my mindset.
Yep.
Because I always came from a victim mindset, and I always was like, why does life have to be so hard? And I would always think of like, what could go wrong? Like all these things that you should not be doing. And I wondered why like everything was going wrong.
Yep.
And so when I tried this, because I was like, God, if there's a 1% chance that it works, like, I'm desperate for change in my life, positive change. And everything changed whenever I learned that stuff. And then from there, plant medicine, which is still another thing. It's like, oh my God, is it bad?
Yeah, I want to jump into that in a second too, with plant medicine and psychedelics. But I want to say, Rachel, and I know some of you were just meeting Rachel now. Rachel has become such a beautiful part of Maegical. She's been there since the start, and I have not personally seen such a beautiful, powerful transformation in someone in so many ways. And we are so grateful to have you here with
us. The
us.
fact that she is sitting here is
amazing.
No, well, it's proof that manifestation is a real thing, and the things that I'm trying to teach people work.
They do.
It's amazing.
Well,
that's why it's like magic. That's why it's magical.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, do you tell us a little bit about your experience in dealing with fear in your life and things that have helped you kind of overcome it, from that controlling, that kind of systematic indoctrination to get over that concept of fear?
Well, I have a lot, like Megan said, with religion. So I grew up, you know, Catholic, Roman Catholic, and I'm not saying anything about, you know, Catholicism.
Absolutely.
But talk about fear. There's a lot of fear ingrained in that religion. And you know, it's everything that we're doing. I was afraid to even use sage. Is that okay?
No, me too. 100%.
I don't want to do
Incense.
anything wrong. You know,
Same thing
so
with
the same
incense.
thing. Like, I don't want to tap into the wrong thing. And
Me
is this
too,
bad?
girlfriend.
You know, I mean, because even the commandments say you're not supposed to, you know,
Right.
Even look at your horoscope. So like,
Right.
oh my gosh.
Oh,
I don't
same. Oh my gosh, same. So you
yeah.
can only imagine whenever I experienced like a card reading, I was like, oh my God.
Right, because that's another thing. Is that okay?
But it was
okay?
life changing, and it's only led to amazing things. And like, I know that part of it too, and I'm going to let you continue to talk, but part of it too, I feel like it's like, it all pulls from God. Absolutely, and then it's like our egos can turn into something dark or bad. You know what I mean? Like with card readers, use your discernment. Like, you don't want to just go to anyone, but it's not because they do cards necessarily, because just in general, there's good and bad people.
If this was a card, this is not inherently
I've
bad.
experienced,
it's the energy I put into
right.
that and pull from.
I know someone who does cards that is a bad energy, and I do not of the light. But I know more that are of the light. But it's not because the cards. Those are just guidance because the Holy Spirit is guiding you to pick the right card. It's not like that you know to pick the right card, but the card that you pick is because the Holy Spirit guided it. And that's why it always resonates with people. So it has nothing to do with like the card reading. This obviously is something that was on my mind because it's just, it's in general, there are good or bad people. There's good energy and there's bad energy. And there's people of love and, light, and there's people that tap into that darkness Anyway, continue. I totally threw you off.
So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of fear growing up as a child and, even well into adulthood, that I'm still going through. But, a big thing was working with you guys. I really started learning, becoming really hyper aware of, the fear of my emotions, all those things.
Like how you feel.
Yes.
That's how we
Why
create.
am I feeling this way? Yeah. How powerful it is, your feelings, your thoughts. And that's when things started to change for me. And
going back and healing things too.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like it's like all about, I just have to start thinking positive thoughts and write affirmations. You have to go back and heal things and then do that.
Which isn't always the most pleasant.
Right. Well, a lot of people don't even teach that though. A lot of people are like, Abraham Hicks, all these people, it's just like, focus on the positive, say your affirmations in the present tense, which is very powerful and you should. But like, you also have to like allow yourself to feel an emotion so it doesn't get trapped in your body and your subconscious mind and cause all sorts of havoc, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big thing I've been doing now still is, getting rid of those old belief systems, that fear-based thinking that keeps us from getting what we really want. And, that's been, fear is a big thing. It's everywhere.
It's not easy to have unwavering faith.
It's not.
Especially when you're being tested.
Right. And I know, at least in my experience, if I would have, and again, as always, anytime we speak about something, if something is working for you, continue that path. Anytime you get information from anyone, whether it's us or someone else, don't just take it, go within, discern it, see how it feels for you.
If it aligns,
if it aligns for you, and then make your decision. I would never say, we're telling you this, so this is the way. I would say, even listen to us and go
even though it is the way. But
even though this doesn't work, but well, it works for us. That's the thing. We're speaking from our experience.
That's the biggest thing here is that anything that we talk about, whether it's psychedelics, plant medicine, like anything that we talk about, we are talking from experience.
I love Daniel's comment. He says there is either love or fear. Love is of God, fear is of the ego. Fear blocks us from the guidance of the Holy Spirit. And it does. I couldn't agree more with that. And in my case, if I would have, and again, not down talking my family by any means, but they have very, very controlled mindset around psychedelics and around plant medicine. And my issue back in the day was binge drinking. Drinking was, I was one of the biggest partiers up there living in New York City. It was crazy. And I used all of the world's ways to try and overcome it. And nothing in the world worked. And it blew my mind, these meetings I would go to. And they're like telling me to stand up and say I'm an addict. And again, if that works for you, that's great. But
and it sucks for me. I was madly in love. And it's like, I wanted to marry him like yesterday. You know what I mean? And it's like, I could not go forward when he, had that problem. And I saw like how bad of a problem it was. And it was,
and if I would have stayed fearful of psychedelics, if I would have thought plant medicine was the devil, if I would have thought all of this.
Because you originally even thought like marijuana was bad.
Oh man, I grew up thinking weed was the devil. I grew up thinking
that's like the best medicine.
Anyone that did a drug was the worst person. I mean, I grew up ultra highly controlled.
But you had an open mind.
But I did. As I went on, I started meeting people and I was like, this doesn't align with the way I was taught as I was growing. So I started having a bit of an open mind. And when I got to the end of my rope with my addiction, I was like, I've tried everything the world says and none of this shit works. In fact, I want to go drink more after this ridiculous meeting. I was like, all right, I'm going to try psychedelics. And I'm so grateful I did, because now anything can be abused. Let me be clear. There's no silver bullet and anything can be abused.
And be careful with your doses.
Right.
As we've learned, he's an extremist.
Right. In my experience, plant medicine, mushrooms, LSD, specifically for that
Do not overdose on that, please.
Was not what we're talking about right now.
I know.
Was very beneficial for me in rewiring my subconscious mind. It opened up parts of my mind I didn't know was there. And I literally remember there were so many instances in my trips where I even saw myself, and I was like battling with my addiction inside my head. And I could never have that profound experience if I stayed fearful of psychedelics, fearful of plant medicine. Doesn't mean it's for everyone.
And with LSD, you have the opportunity to have amazing epiphanies that actually stay with you. Like with the ketamine infusion, I like had them, and then when I woke up, I'm like, what were they?
Yeah.
I mean, but amazing. Like I used to just be overwhelmed with gratitude, and that's the high, like that kind of frequency is going to help you manifest like the life of your dreams if you're in a state of gratitude.
And the reason why I bring this up, man, we are so passionate.
It don't take like a lot.
We are so passionate about healing and helping people find their path that there's so many people, whether listening right now or they know someone who is fearful to try one of these medicines because they've been indoctrinated and told it's a path to the devil. Or when it
could be something that helps peel the onion layer of them.
And you know what's crazy about it? The conditioning and indoctrination is so strong that we had experienced, we'll use Megan as an example, but there's more examples out there. People that have found healing, that their friends or family still, even though this person healed, demonize these things, which is mind-blowing. So we want everyone out there to know, follow your own path. If you're struggling, if you're going through it, go within, but don't act out of fear. Act out of hope. Act out of faith. Act out of love.
And if you've never experienced it, like quit judging. Like if you've never experienced it, and if you've never been at the end of your rope, if you've never had chronic illness, like
well, that's what I found, and I'm sure
on.
What we've found is most of the people that, of course, I don't want to talk in absolutes, but most of the people that have been highly judgmental, that you may experience that are highly judgmental upon these medicines, because they are medicines, have never experienced it, or they've never experienced the level of trauma or abuse that Megan has faced, or
even just, I mean, chronic illness,
or chronic illness,
like,
or addiction. They just haven't experienced that, so they think their way is the only way. But people can't talk.
Even things with like Reiki, for example, which I love because everything's energy, and so Reiki healing energy is absolutely 100% real. It can be so amazing. But like, I have people in my family, like I don't want to say too much, but like someone in my family could totally benefit from it.
Oh yeah,
it would be very, very beneficial. And the person that cares so much for this person that could benefit from it is trying to do every other modality, conventional and everything, to help him, and nothing's working, and is so like, no, that door's closed, I won't even go there, when that could be so beneficial. Same with like ayahuasca for this person, or these sort of things. And it's like, man, it's such a shame, because the person that they want to heal so badly, I feel like they are kind of keeping them from fully
That's
healing.
why I'm like so like excited about how your children are going to have such an incredible mind for this stuff, because so many people struggle most of their lives because of what their parents told them stuff was bad. And again, you know what? I truly believe parents are always trying to do the best they can for what they understand and experience. But it seems as if the generation before us, for some reason or another,
but a lot of it goes back to religion.
It does go back to religion, like you said.
But if we look at, even healthcare, and the psychedelic world is starting to break through. We're starting to see a lot of differences than a couple years ago.
Tell them your background about all that.
So I'm a registered nurse. And I worked in emergency medicine for most of my career.
That's got to be so cool to come from that world.
No blood.
And then coming into this world, and the knowledge you have, and being able to stay non-judgmental. Because so many people that work as well as you did, and as much as you did, stay in that world, and you've been able to transcend it.
To have an open mind is huge.
That's what it always comes back to. Have an open mind, people.
I'm totally curious. How did you go about being able to see through the veil and have an open mind whenever you're, in nursing, especially, nurses work so freaking hard and deal with so much. How are you able to break through that?
I think I've always had an open mind. And when I went into nursing, one of the things that I always said was, and this goes back to my brother who's passed, he always said to me, you're going to do amazing things, you're going to help people, but always remember who you are and be different. Be who you are. And that's something that has stayed with me. I always said, okay, I want to be a nurse, but I want to be a different nurse. I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be different. I want to be non-judgmental. I want to be, the most empathetic person I can be. And I want to really help people. I want people to heal.
You would think all nurses would feel that way. Like,
But healthcare is like everything else.
I know.
There's a lot of fear in healthcare.
Oh, I know.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So coming into this, has really changed everything for me. How I look at nursing, how I look at healthcare, how I look at the world. It's definitely, I see, the good points, and I see things that, would be beneficial, things to change.
Well, and you had the opportunity to administer ketamine infusions, right, in the past.
Well, I mean,
or you worked with
I worked in the emergency room. Ketamine is used for conscious sedation. Yes.
Got it.
So yeah, we don't want to get that mixed up.
You used to administer it right down the street. No, I'm just kidding.
But no, it's interesting to see, how ketamine is being used. And just a few years ago, people didn't know that it was, used for depression.
Yep.
And now,
and
there's a lot of infusion centers.
When I did it, it helped me wake up earlier in the mornings again, because I got into a habit of sleeping in. And then,
but just so in case someone doesn't know what we're talking about, because we have new people that kind of jump on each time.
Okay.
Real quick, don't want to cut you off there, but ketamine infusions are actually, there's a lot of good studies coming out, very different, just to clarify, very different than the street drug ketamine. It's actually medically used in facilities now, and it's pretty beautiful what it can do to help heal damaged neural pathways from trauma and create new neural pathways. We actually, one of our last podcasts, we interviewed Allison Waddell, who runs an incredible one, Illuma in Austin. And then Charles Patty was a really good friend of ours who runs a great one with his wife in Florida. But it's being used now to heal nerve pathways from trauma, and
it like clears out the trauma,
and we wanted to experience that so we could speak upon it. So we went and had 6
Michael
infusions.
Zappelin,
the filmmaker. Yep.
So and that's the thing with psychedelics that they're seeing. We have MAPS and all these other people doing research. There are things that are happening for people that are unfounded, that other medications, pharmaceuticals, you're not seeing that kind of stuff. It's unexplainable.
Yeah.
People that are just at their wits' end, they don't know what else to do. And they're seeing these amazing, profound results.
Yep.
Yeah, I had someone just yesterday who is all for, like ayahuasca, mushrooms, but the moment I mentioned ketamine infusions, like, I would never put a synthetic drug, and I'm like, I get that way of thinking, and I would agree with you, except for this time, because we're speaking from experience. But the one thing I did want to mention, for anyone that this may, help, is that I had a lot of chronic pain, like like rheumatoid arthritis in my shoulders and my neck and back. Horrible. Like, it was just so bad.
It was rough. I had to rub your shoulder every morning. I had to rub your shoulders.
It was so bad. It was so bad. And that gave me insomnia. It was just a horrible thing. And I was getting to where I was sleeping in, and I didn't have as much drive. And so those are the things that I noticed, is that I started waking up earlier. Like, I had way more drive, motivation to do things and take better care of myself. And then my pain went away.
And, with ketamine infusions too, it's not like you're going down to your buddy's house and they're just, it is by a doctor.
Right? You're not doing that.
it has to be prescribed. So it is prescribed.
And it's in a facility.
It's in a clinical setting. Yep.
And that's a great example, again, going back to fear, because, we never call them out, but there was an interaction the other day where, because of the indoctrination, all about mushrooms and ayahuasca, which of course we are too, but different tools work for different people for different reasons.
I had to figure out the formula.
Right.
It was multiple medicines that work together.
Keep that open mind, and don't let fear stray, because there may be, in our formula, there's a little part that ketamine does work well for, those infusions. Once the trauma is healed internally, there's those neural pathways that are still damaged that can use that. So, and the thing I wanted to mention too that bothers me about the fear concept with psychedelics, and I steal it a little bit from Terrence McKenna, the father of psychedelics, but it blows my mind. And what I love to ask people, I never want to get confrontational, because people are very convinced of what they believe, right? Or else they wouldn't believe it. So. But why would you judge someone that is exploring their own consciousness? That's what it is. Psychedelics is going within your own mind.
Yeah.
That's it. You're saying, no, don't discover more about yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't learn safe and
Don't raise your vibration.
the ironic thing is we are constantly bombarded with everything in this external world to keep us distracted, keep us in fear. And what psychedelics do, they make you turn around and see what you got going on in here.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy to me.
And specific ones will unlock that door of your subconscious mind where
That's right.
all that junk is stored,
Yeah.
you know?
A couple other awesome comments. Freaking love Daniel Stone. Daniel's been part of us since the beginning too. He is
Hi,
in our
Daniel.
Maegical inner circle and just an incredible human being.
And we still need to hop on Zoom and do breath work.
Yep. Haley said, yes, feel it to heal it. Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to.
What's up, Isaiah? Sean, what's up, guys? Daniel says, I'm so open and excited to try mushrooms. I believe they will help heal the suppressed trauma, which I need right now.
Especially since
Yep.
you've already done the ketamine.
Yep, absolutely. And, you know, we got
Give
some
you
things
great
going on for
perspective
you
of
over
those new
here.
neural pathways.
You know, I
Yep.
just want to mention too, if anyone, you know, is thinking about psilocybin, Google Maria Sabina. She was the curandera that, you know, actually kind of brought psilocybin here. She didn't bring it here, but
Ooh, I didn't know that.
yes, Maria Sabina. She was in Mexico. She was the curandera that was using psilocybin to heal. And yeah, so Wasson went over there in like I forget what, the 50s or 60s. And that's when, you know, they were going over there, Americans were going over, and they wanted to experience the psilocybin, you know, healing. And that's how it got brought over here. That's how everyone, you know, started learning about the magic mushroom.
Yeah.
Through Maria
So
Sabina. And the
cool.
healing that was going on was just amazing. So I think there's a lot to be said about, you know, indigenous people and how
So much so.
they're using healing. You know, ayahuasca, psilocybin, it's a big thing, and it's powerful.
It really is.
And works.
They use it with respect. It's not like they're out getting high and everybody's partying at these ceremonies.
Right.
It's
all about
far from
intention.
that.
We always set an intention before we take mushrooms.
Because you know what, and
it always comes to fruition every single time.
And people, and there's nothing wrong with using them recreationally if that's what aligns with you. But we've gotten to the point where they're very sacred. They're sacred.
Yeah.
And if you use them in a sacred manner, in a ceremonial setting,
I've had like psychic surgeries, y'all. Like hernias just dissolved.
And you have a specific intention with them, and that energy's there, and it's just, they can be so profound. Daniel he said new research on psilocybin states that they have found one dose can actually ward off depression for up to 5 years.
Wow.
That's just one thing. Imagine the endless possibilities. I look forward to see it when I use it, because so many people suffer from depression and there's no pill that seems to work. It's great.
And if you ever find the chocolate ones, they taste amazing.
That is a big fact. That's
because I don't ever eat chocolate because dairy and all these other things, but when it comes to those, I will, and they never bother me. They only do good things, and they taste amazing. Like I have to be like control myself, like do not eat all 14 pieces, Megan, because I'm about to just be like that. You know, it tastes so good.
Right, and that's the crazy thing. Most of the stuff we're talking about, many people, and it's funny because your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So we talk about this. We have a good amount of people that we talk with, so we think so many people kind of understand this, but so a lot of the world still doesn't yet. And they're still in that mindset of fearing. And what I love is people that are super indoctrinated, there's finally all this science catching up with it. MAPS, Multiple Disciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, doing incredible work with psilocybin, doing incredible work with MDMA therapy, doing incredible work with ketamine. I mean, there's countless examples.
And who would have thought, you know, people that are so afraid would think, you know, that MDMA
would
be used for this PTSD, and it's proven.
Or like intimacy.
Absolutely. It can be very much a hard one, because you know what, as humans, what we do is we put all these blocks up, like we do, especially if you're talking about relationship, but even in general, you put these blocks up, and a lot of them get deep and they're subconscious. So they can be harder. They can be heart openers. So yeah, and it's another thing people immediately have a triggering fear effect for is.
But think about how many plants are healing besides even those. Like think about or different herbs, lemon balm, and like all these different things, right? Even and then like sage can be used to clear spaces. It's just like when you think about
lavender, all these little things.
And people fear sage.
I know.
Just like you said, you did.
I did.
I've seen the posts, and it drives me crazy. They're like, don't let this evil
it's
witchcraft.
It's all about
And
intention
that's the
too,
thing.
you
Everything
guys.
goes back to this, that it's witchcraft.
It's the power of intention, though. It's like you're either good energy or bad energy, and the intention. You know what I mean? The energy behind your intention.
Yeah, everything is the intention.
Paul Grosso says, hey. What's up,
Hey,
Paul?
Paul.
We love Paul Grosso. He is going to be doing. We're doing.
That's what we always.
That's Paul's call, if you didn't know. Paul, Maegical's going to be doing some really cool collaborations with Paul Grosso.
Yes,
check
he
him out.
is awesome.
If you haven't heard of him, he just commented. Go to his page, follow his
Insight
page.
Timer, which
He's
we are
amazing.
going to create a combined one at some point, but he's got his own thing.
Paul is fantastic.
He's amazing.
Oh my God, his
Amazing.
beats, his healing frequencies. We want him playing at our retreats,
Yeah.
and even he does cacao ceremonies. I believe yoga. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but he is the shit.
Yep. But one of
And he plays music to animals, y'all.
Oh, I know.
I can't handle
we
it.
A whole segment on Paul.
Yes.
Or a whole segment on animals.
That's true. But I love that you guys both mentioned it's the energy behind it, because people will think that the sage itself is bad. And it's not. It's like a knife.
Like I did.
Yeah.
I personally was so afraid. I mean, I was Googling everything. How do I do this? It was such a big production. Is it okay? Am I going to make things worse? As you guys know, I had really dark houses in the past, and I was desperate. So,
Amityville Horror. Then it's the 2020 Amityville Horror is what she
It is an old house that
bad,
had stuff in it.
I went from a bad one to an even worse one. It was.
But now she's in an amazing one.
That's right.
It's ginormous and amazing.
That's right.
Yeah, it's magical.
It
Yeah,
really
it's
is
amazing.
But yeah, and that takes courage to do all that. I mean, the intention behind whatever you do is going to directly impact that. Like, that's why even growing up, I literally did. I thought people that smoked weed were like horrible people. But what's crazy now is it's actually a great medicine. In fact, we even, not to go back, but we even spoke in our first episode about how because of all our trauma, Megan was prescribed Xanax for like 25 years.
Klonopin, back and forth.
And she was able to get off of that.
Yeah.
But high frequency good marijuana was helpful as a tool to help get off that. A knife
and
in
food
itself,
tasted amazing. That's just a bonus.
there you go. A knife in itself isn't inherently bad. It can be used to kill someone or do a surgery to save someone.
Perfect example.
It's not bad. It's the energy. So the person and the energy behind it, and the energy you're bringing to it, and the intention you set with it. Like we've said since the beginning, we strongly feel, and I took this from Megan, this is Megan saying, but God gives us the desires of our heart, but does so through the power of our mind. Alyssa had an incredible
And our
comment.
feelings.
And our feelings, yes. Have the thought, creates the feeling, attracts the situation. Alyssa says, society creates stereotypes of psychedelics, plant medicine that cause them to fear or dislike them. I grew up as a kid believing the use of psychedelics was wrong, as that was what people told me, but I was recently shown how great, healing, and powerful these wonderful things are. It gives me so much freaking hope for the future of children.
Is that Alyssa?
That is your Alyssa.
Oh my God, that's my child.
That's
She
her
is
child.
like way mature.
I'm telling you, they are like little, maps, representatives here.
amazing.
And you can ask them, they would
Yeah,
tell
love
you. I
her.
had the little
Love you, girl.
posters everywhere that said we support psychedelic research.
I love that.
And my kids know that. They know.
Because you know what? Kids aren't taught how to handle their shit. They aren't taught how to handle the issues. They're like taught to hold it in. They're taught to be a man, be a woman, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like
It's not okay to show
emotion.
emotions.
Like,
I mean, that was a
yeah.
big thing for me. Always, you don't want to show emotions. You don't want to look weak.
Right.
And you have to let those things out. You do.
Absolutely. And kids not being
I
taught
suppressed so much stuff that made me
Oh my
chronically
gosh!
ill.
Now we're
like,
having to
max.
feel it all now. Years later.
yes.
She had to go back in her ayahuasca ceremony and feel what she felt as an 8-year-old girl because of that. So the kids aren't being taught how to handle this stuff because of fear. And a kid is going to listen to whatever the heck their parent says, right?
I love it when I see videos on Facebook of like kids doing their affirmations, or in the mirror they're like, "I am beautiful." I'm like, "Oh my God."
Charity. We have someone that's special to us. Charity. She raises
Our
her
little
daughter
girl
so well.
is so cute.
Yes, gives us so much hope for these parents that are like doing these wonderful things for their kids in the mindset aspect and keeping the open mind
And doing it because they're like not caring what other people think.
Yep, that's a huge part.
It
of
You
is
it.
a
gotta
big
not
thing,
care what other people think.
You have to
you
lose
know
that,
what you're
throw
doing is
that away.
right.
Anything worrying about fear of what people think, get
If
rid
you
of it.
know you're doing what's
Get rid of it.
right, then that's,
You know what's eventually gonna could turn every individual soul, when that person that is indoctrinated, that is fully thinks they're bad, is either at their wit's end with a sickness or illness, mental or physical, or their loved one is at their wit's end and they finally see their loved one heal from this, that'll be the turning point. Because I used to be, and Megan used to get so
But
pissed
not
at me.
always if they see their loved one. Like, what about me?
Not always. Yeah, not always. You know, you would hope. But not always. You're right. But for the most part, I feel like that would work with most people, unless the
I think they have to
indoctrination
be
is
in the
fully-
shoes.
Right. That could be true.
Mhm.
Oh man, I forgot
I'm
what I was gonna
sorry.
say. Dang.
I'm sorry.
That's the benefits of a live show, right?
Yeah.
Well, good. Daniel just said something.
Thanks, Daniel.
Rachel, I honor and offer respect for the work you have done to heal yourself.
Y'all, she's come so far.
You exemplify the power of God and healing in his healing work. Thank you for sharing. Much love and light to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Daniel.
And I got to ask you, because I already know the answer. Whenever you started, you didn't know about the affirmations and all that, like, and whenever you started doing like what I recommended and you did it with consistency, it didn't even take that long, did it?
No, it
That's
didn't.
the beauty of it. It doesn't
see
have to take
results
long.
fast. I mean, everybody, we come from instant gratification. We want to see
Boom.
results now,
Yeah.
yesterday. And you will, if you put the actual effort into this stuff, doing your, just something as little as meditation, something like that, affirmations, you will start to see
Journaling.
that things start to
Journaling.
change extremely quickly. I can't even explain
Because
how
something
quickly.
shifts in your subconscious mind, and when that happens, it's like done.
And
Yeah.
you start seeing how, these maladaptive behaviors that you've had over the years, you become aware of all your feelings, everything. And you think, my gosh, how did I go through all these years living this way?
Yeah.
I was mind blown when I realized this stuff
It
was real and it
changes
worked. I'm like,
everything.
wait a second.
The way
Like,
you react to
what?
things, I know myself now, I'm a much more, calm person than I used to be. And sometimes I look at situations that I'm going through and I think, gosh, if that was me like last year, whoa.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it really it changes every, area, every aspect of your life. I can't even stress how much it changes. My
crazy.
kids are living testaments. They've watched me go through it and they are doing it with me. They've done it all the way
my
with
gosh,
me.
That's amazing.
And it's changed our lives. It's made us such a strong family unit. I can't even explain. You guys have met them. We are a strong unit.
Y'all are cute.
Single mom with 4 kids, and we are unbreakable.
Yeah.
They are just little lights of mindfulness.
They're amazing.
And they will tell you, they'll say Megan is like another mom to us because they've listened to her. They've heard the affirmations. They've heard.
She's talking about my meditations and stuff on our YouTube channel, and so she played. There's one called Morning Affirmations. That was your favorite, right? When you played.
All the meditate and affirmate, like the
those
ones,
too. So I
that's what I
still
do them every morning faithfully.
Yep. Megan creates one of our services. She creates a very
It's my favorite service to do.
It's an hour-long customized meditation that specifically finds out your fears, all that, and turns them into
things that are going to serve you well. I find out what your dreams are, like what your
goals are. And then you play it
are.
before you go to sleep.
Your advice,
or in the morning, like I do.
Yeah, just every day, either way.
And it reprograms that subconscious mind.
And I write it custom based upon your past and your wants and everything, and then I create it, and then I have to go through and say it to see how long it is, and then I have to go find royalty-free music that matches that time and put it together, and then I have to record it. So it's a whole thing. But even though it's a whole thing, I still love creating it, and it's like no one else is doing it, and it's something that is enjoyable and pleasant that you will enjoy. That will give you results. It's awesome.
I'm gonna plug here. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, check it out, because there's a lot of really good, all free, good meditations on there that Megan's created. And we're gonna have this on there.
Oh yeah, they are great too.
And if you like those, then you would love the meditate and affirmate.
Like the Protected by the Light, you got to check that out. If you haven't, check it out.
Hey, especially being with fear, we're talking about fear. If you want to help eliminate that in the morning, do that Protected by the Light meditation before you go out in the day. Your mind is so powerful.
It's short, y'all. It's like 7 minutes.
That protection before you go out in the day. So, but yeah, I remember what I was going to say now. Thanks, you give me that good segue. When it comes to fear, what's up, George? George says, hey.
Hey, George.
Gemma Weber says she is subscribed. Sweet, thank you.
All my kids are popping on.
I know, that's right. But one of the biggest fears out there that we got to unwire, and I'm telling you, again, over a decade in the personal development space, working with people, one of the biggest ones I have to unwire is their fear of what other people think.
I used to be bad about that.
There's a lot of people that at home, they'll be like, man, maybe I do want to try the mushroom therapy.
But
Maybe
what
I
will
do want to
so-and-so
try
say?
meditation.
Yeah.
But my parents are going to think I'm going down a bad route, or my family or my best
Yeah.
friend or whatever. And it stops them from experiencing the beauty of being healed, or
they're afraid of like what the healing journey is going to be like. Like, yeah, like ayahuasca wasn't fun, but like, it's like, it was so healing, you know. I think, I know. I don't want to do it again, but I think I'm going to do it. Next time I'm doing it with mushrooms because it's supposed to be much gentler.
Yeah.
So last time I did it 5-MeO DMT, and that was like almost a death experience.
But you know what? That PTSD is gone.
Yes.
So.
Yes, it is.
But that's a big one, man. Not caring about people, because your want. This is an important, really, really important point. So take this note down. Your want to heal and your want to find your purpose has to be greater than your fear of what your family thinks,
or what it could be like,
or your fear of the experience of facing your trauma.
Yeah, or throwing up if you're doing ayahuasca, all those things, like your fear of that is getting in the way of your healing.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was good.
But with mushrooms, you don't have to throw up. Right. I already did that part.
I'll try them.
I'm already. He wants to try everything.
I am the extremist. She is not.
Like he wants to do Cambo. I know that's going. I'm like,
I do. I've heard really good things about Cambo. Haven't experienced it yet, but I want to be able to speak upon it. So what better way than
San Pedro? I'm open to that.
Yeah. But one thing I did want to talk about too. We got about 17 minutes left here. Is how to discern light from dark.
But we have. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
You know.
Well, no, because it was still on. It was still on the plant medicine. I was like, we always forget to mention Iboga because with people that have addictions.
Yes.
So real quick, I just wanted to at least put it out there. So if someone is watching that has an addiction problem, whether it be on food, porn, alcohol, drugs, whatever, then it's a great plant medicine to research and explore if that's good for you. I know you need to be off everything, medicine wise and. Right, like antidepressant, benzos.
For the link. Go ahead.
The link for what?
Our YouTube. I just published it.
It's Maegical. It's not magical.
But yeah, Iboga is another very powerful plant medicine, like she mentioned. These are all tools. These are all sacred tools. That's what they are. They're not inherently good, bad, whatever. They're tools because it's understanding.
Because you're doing the healing.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's a really important piece. Is
all the same point.
Yep. We're doing the work.
Yep.
And that's one thing to always remember.
We can heal ourselves.
The person has to do the work. These are all just little tools in the toolbox that you can incorporate.
Along with diet, diet,
everything.
That's been a big part of my journey. We should do that
as one of our next topics. Actually.
Diet. Oh man, y'all. Yeah,
we'll do that. That'll be a next one we'll talk. And of course, anyone out there, we've been kind of climbing in regards to views over 1,000 each time. Anyone that has suggestions or something they'd like to hear about, or they would like information on or to speak about, shoot us a message and we can put it on.
What did you say that you wanted to bring up though? You said about fear. Let's talk about
discernment.
So discerning light from dark, right? There's a lot of people, and it's important to get over. Yeah, this is a big one.
We've had some really big lessons with this one.
Yep. And I am intuitive because I called it, but I didn't act on it.
It is important to know where you stand in your gifts. Like Megan and I have different kinds of gifts. It's good and kind of a good and bad thing that I have is I tend to always see the good in everyone.
Even if my intuition is like going, he still does.
It's hit me a few times. But Megan has incredibly powerful discernment. It's one of her innate gifts.
It is.
But to discern light from dark, go ahead.
Well, because I didn't have any logical reason to think this person was bad because they looked doing all the right things, right? So like logically it made no sense, but there was something that was still just like, the Holy Spirit, my higher self telling me like, something is not right here with this person. And I should have acted on it. I should have been like firm, even though he loves everyone. I should be like, no, I'm going with this gut feeling. And I allowed him to talk me out of it. That's okay. Because in the end, you found out I was right anyway. So, but yeah, man, if you have a gut feeling, always go with it. Even if it doesn't make sense, because in the end, it will.
Because I had the same situation. I felt weird with the person, but I, like David, I was like, no, I think I'm just overthinking it. I think this
Right.
person is a good person.
Well, and if
just
someone's a
my,
manipulator, they're going to make you feel
Yeah.
that way.
But I should have gone with, my gut feeling, which felt, this doesn't feel right. I feel
always go with your
uncomfortable.
gut. Always.
Yep.
You are powerful and you have discernment, and we all have spirit within us, like go with that, because that is your authentic self, true self at your core.
Yep.
And it will never lead you wrong if you truly know that it's, a discerned gut feeling.
And the one thing I think it's important to separate here is if it's your gut feeling or it is someone telling you what to believe and how to feel, right? One of the points
my
is
third eye's wide open.
it's with going back to what we were talking about, how to use light and dark and discernment with things like meditation, with things like whatever, psychedelics, mushrooms, anything. If you're kind of in between on that, and a lot of people are in this place because of what they've been told and now what they're seeing other people experience, you can always have the experience yourself. And then when you have that experience, if it feels bad, don't do it. If it feels good, do it.
But on the topic that we were talking about, like the fear, like the darkness, discernment, just be aware, especially in the times that we are experiencing right now in our world. There are a lot, unfortunately, of wolves in sheep's clothing.
Absolutely.
You will think that they are like one of the most amazing light workers you've ever met. Just, always go with your gut feeling there, because there will be a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing during this time. And we've experienced that. And so that means other people are experiencing that. So, always go with your gut.
Go with your gut. And, a few things you can do to help really discern that too. All your answers are within you. Stick hard on your routine in the morning. Make sure you're sticking to that. If you have mentors or people that you've trusted for years that you know and trust, go to them and talk to them about it.
Mm-hmm.
People are there for you. There's divine guidance all around you. And it wants what's best for you 100%. But that's really good too. We wanted to kind of mention that and kind of just touch on that briefly. And that's really kind of the topics I wanted to hit on today. I wanted to talk about fear. Again, don't let fear dictate your decisions.
And now more than ever in the times that we're in, it's so important because fear is like magnified.
Yep.
It's crazy right now. Okay.
Well, the more you focus on it, it will magnify.
Now more than ever in our lifetime.
So this is a great point here. Not to get too much detailed into it, but I really don't care because it's the way it is. We are all having fear shoved down our throats right now to control us and to keep us in a lower vibration.
Yes.
I've had to talk about this before. She always pulls me back. I'm not going to get too deep into it.
I'm like triggers.
No, I know. We're not going to talk too much about it.
Every time.
And for those of you that know, you know. I don't have to mention it anymore. But understand fear deeply. If people are pushing fear for a certain reason, ask yourself why, right? And
the news, the media,
and understand what fear does. What does fear do? Fear keeps you in a lower vibrational state. When you're in a lower vibrational state, what do you think you attract? Lower vibrational situations.
And when you're like that, you are easily controlled.
And it's easy to get sick. Things like that too, when you're in that lower vibration. So keep away from fear. Stick to faith. Stick to love. Stick to love. Stick to those higher gratitude.
Yes.
This is why I preach to my employees every day. They get sick of me saying it, that routine and being around good people and thinking.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of them have a routine now. They love it.
They do.
Because they see that it works.
That's right. That's absolutely true. And right now, more than ever, like Rachel said, it's the time whenever not to let fear dictate your decisions. Go within, see through the veil, use your discernment, and understand that you should never make decisions based off of fear. And there's a lot of ways to keep your vibration high. Eating healthy. Breath work is very powerful. Obviously meditation.
And I say affirmations.
Going outside, sunlight.
Yeah.
I mean,
nature.
all these are all basic things that for some reason no one's telling us to do.
Right.
But these will actually keep your vibration high rather than what they may be telling us to do.
No, just it's opposite day, like every day.
Yeah. Basically, that's a good way to put that. But I think that's a good spot to end on. We love every one of you. We're here from you. We're here for you. Anyone, we have launched the Maegical Inner Circle group. So if you want to be a little bit more closer with us, we do a monthly, really good monthly kind of coaching call, interactive.
And periodically, I'll be on there doing live meditations.
Yep. We even have a weekly thing where we jump on and talk to each other every now and again throughout the week.
Oh yeah, we have an app for that we use.
Yep, we have an app for that. Also with anyone that's in that Maegical Inner Circle, it's 10% off of any Maegical ceremonies, which are coming up. Really
and our book is about to be, it's in the process of publishing right now. Our children's book.
Children's book. We have a children's book coming out.
We have others
today or tomorrow.
The ceremonies though, they're awesome. Our first one is, we're like max capacity.
Yeah,
it's
we
sold
sold out our first healing ceremony. So we're so excited that Rachel's gonna be there with us.
Yeah. It's just gonna be amazing. And I can't wait for the next one. So we've had such a great response, and I can't wait to get the feedback after the first one. And based upon that, like, we're looking forward to doing a lot more, coming up.
Absolutely.
So if you're in like, the Austin, San Marcos, Kyle, Buda, San Antonio area, then
and you're interested
we're right in your neighborhood.
Healing ceremonies, feel free to DM us, hit us up. We're booked for this one, but we'll definitely be doing another one.
Even people flying in.
Yeah, a few people flying in for it. It's going to be epic, and it's the beginning of something amazing.
And these are the things that helped me heal so much, and him, and we've combined it into, it's like a show, it's like a production.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's something that we created, so no one's doing it, and you just have to experience it. But I put my blood, sweat, and tears into it, you guys. Like,
and just so you know, this is the start. We have incredible exciting coming up in the future. We have connections for ceremonial stuff in Greece, in Italy, in Belize. We have some incredible things that are coming in the future. Just stand by. This is about to, we're going international, but we're starting here in Austin. So again, anyone around the Austin area that wants to get in and experiencing these, we are booked up for next week.
And the international ones, they will involve mushrooms in the ceremony for healing, because they are powerful.
Among other plant medicines.
Heart openers. But just want to say that.
Cool. And like I said, DM us for any questions on the inner circle and ceremonial stuff. We love every one of you. Thanks for joining us here. We are going to be posting this on our YouTube page, so you can also find it here. And thank you all for coming in and joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
Straight from fear. Straight from fear. Faith
go with
and
your gut. Go with your
faith
gut.
Faith and hope over fear. Yeah, go with your gut. Go within. All right.
You're powerful.
You are powerful.
Yeah, use your discernment, because you have one. You have it.
Happy healing.
Happy healing. Bye, y'all.
Bye.